There's so much pressure to always look good and not age and freeze time. And how has that been?
See, pressure is something you need to decide. How much are you going to get affected by it? How much will you let it bother you? I don't.
The thing I want to really say here is that it takes a lot for an actor to come out and speak out.
Ad agency, I've done a few ads when I was younger. In fact, in the ad agency or the ad field, 25 and above is mummy types and 35 and above is grandmother types.
Tip Tip Barsa Pani got remade. What a legendary song that was. Akshay Kumar got to be in the remake. But Raveena Tandon could not even be considered for the role. Welcome to another episode of Under Your Skin with me, Dr. T. Today I have a very special guest with me on the show. That is Mugdha Godbole. She is an actor, a writer, and also my sister-in-law. Doesn't feel like Sasural at all though.
Thank you. That's okay.
We have seen her in the crack cream ad, which is where I remember seeing her for the first time. And you were great hiding your heels with that sari. We've also seen her in Abhala Maya, which was a show that would always play in all the Maharashtrian homes at least when we were growing up. She's huge. She's now in theatre. She's killing it in the theatre scene. She's writing for so many Marathi shows, and she has also written a book of her own now, for which you won a Sahitya Puraskar, which is amazing. So congratulations, and I'm so happy to have you on my show. And let me tell you, she is so big on the Marathi scene today, but she is one of the most humble and down-to-earth and most helpful people I have ever seen. Thanks for coming here.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your kind words and thank you for inviting me.
It's awesome to have you on this side of the podcast because you're always hosting all these podcasts, and it's so awesome to have you as a guest today. Loving it, loving it. So today I want to talk to you from a very different perspective because you have been facing the camera for a good 30 years, if I'm not wrong. And it puts a lot of focus on your appearance. Yes. And I specifically want to talk to you about that today. And I want this whole podcast to be about that. That there's so much pressure to always look good and not age and freeze time. And how has that been?
Well, I don't really fall into the category of a glamorous actor in that sense. So I don't think for me that has been a major part. Also, having said that, yes, I've been in this industry and applying makeup and facing the camera, facing the lights has been a major part of my career and my work profile. So yeah, it has its pluses and minuses. You need to take care of your skin probably a little more than somebody who doesn't belong to this profession. But on the whole, it's not really that difficult also, especially if you have a family member and a doctor like you.
Thank you. But yeah, you also have great genetics, so it doesn't take much from my side.
Oh, okay, thank you very much. But I think genetically, to be very honest, when I was a teenager, when I was much younger, my skin was not really very good. It was terrible for that matter. I would get a lot of breakouts and pimples and acne, and open pores was a perpetual problem. And I had not really decided to be an actor back then, but yeah, of course, you don't want to go to a family function with a big red pimple, angry pimple showing on your face, and you're young, you want to go out more frequently, and that's not the best case scenario. Your skin should really be good, but my skin was terrible. So that
is a very common concern that a lot of teenagers have, and this focus on how your skin evolves over time is absolutely something that we should talk about.
Yes.
That somebody who's super acne prone in their teens,
yes,
by the time they enter their 20s, their acne may settle, or sometimes I've seen people who through their teens had great skin and in their 20s their acne really starts emerging. So adult acne is a huge thing.
Oh,
can happen in the 30s, can happen in the 40s. So adult acne
I never
is
had
huge.
that problem.
Correct. But a lot of people say by the time they enter their 30s, start having very different problems. Open pores, as you said, fine lines, a little bit of sagging starts cropping up. Post-pregnancy, people see a lot of changes in their skin. There's a lot of pigmentation that happens. A lot of things can change. How have you experienced that change from your 20s to 30s to 40s?
No, for that matter, my skin improved a little later, you know, especially after I had my child. I don't know whatever hormonal thing must have happened, but yeah, my skin definitely improved. It became more even. I think till I was 35, 37, I never really had adult acne or whatever that issue is. So by then, my skin had settled, I should say. Earlier, it was bad, but you know, I think once you have a child, your general system also or your lifestyle also changes. You start leading a more disciplined life.
Yeah.
Because the child has to go to school in the morning, so you know,
Yeah.
the previous night you sleep on time. You also start eating a lot more
Yeah.
home cooked food, especially
Because you have to make sure your kid eats it.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So I think all that helped my skin in general.
Correct.
So
That
in my
is true.
30s, my skin was better. In my 40s, I should say, yeah, of course, the signs of aging started showing. Wrinkles, fine lines, crow's feet, and whatever. A little bit of pigmentation or dark spots, I should say. But by and large, my skin behaved a little better, you know, after my teenage years, I should say.
What about the disconnect of, you know, of course you're going to age, right? And the industry expects you to freeze time. So I see, we see a lot of this focus, particularly in Bollywood. Like Kareena Kapoor owns her wrinkles pretty much, I'd say. And the amount of grief they give her for like, kitni buddhi dikh rahi hai. Like, come on, she's in her 40s now. You can't expect her to look the same. And I think she looks great, by the way.
Yeah.
But the focus on how you expect an actor to always stay the way she looked in her 20s. And I see so many actors getting pressurized by this. Again, I don't want to get into names, but I see so many people doing far too much work on their face in this pressure to keep getting roles that they wouldn't have gotten otherwise. How has this been in the Marathi industry?
The pressure is there, I should say a little lesser, because in Marathi industry, in Marathi films and television, to be very honest, more than glamour, relatability has always worked. You know, you want your heroines to be a girl next door. Or, you know, the characters should have that relatability factor with the audience.
Correct.
So, I don't think they put too much of pressure on glamour. Of course, they're household names, so they associate glamour with the stardom and whatever. But in Marathi, no, glamour is not the main focus, if you ask me very honestly.
I also feel based on whichever actors have come to me, say, in clinic, I feel based on the people from the Marathi industry who I have interacted with, because I guess there's a lot of them in Thane. So I see there are some people who, you know, for the kind of roles that they get, they need to look a certain way, and then they do get a little bit of work done. I'm sure still compared to Bollywood, the Marathi industry isn't really getting far too much work done.
Yeah, it's
and
not
as you
that
said, a
glamour
lot
crazy.
Of correct.
I should
and
say.
as you said, a lot of people are known more for their, you know,
Performances and
their acting rather than their appearances.
Yes.
But yeah, I see the pressure definitely is still there.
So I should say, whatever Bollywood movies we've grown up watching, Budhapa was always associated with looking dull, haggard, tired. You know, those quintessential Budhi Maas were always somebody who would never really pay attention to their external, you know, appearance.
Yeah.
So youth was associated with beauty, and that has always been the case. But I think things are changing now. I think this image is changing. Now people want to look good even in their later ages. Now I'm nearing 50 and I would want to look my best till I can.
Absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And I don't think we need to talk about the pressure. It need not be an external pressure. It's just about you wanting to look good.
Yeah.
I also feel everyone has a certain line that they draw. I keep talking about this. That, you know, someone's okay with, say, waxing. Someone's not okay with waxing.
Yeah, to each his own.
Yeah, someone says lasers are okay, but I won't do anything more than that. Someone says Botox is okay, but not fillers. Someone says fillers is okay, but not surgery. And all of us have a line that we have all drawn. And we are nobody to sit and judge each other's lines, to be honest.
I mean, who am I to judge? If you have the means and if you have the money and if you have the right kind of people around you to give you good advice, if you can afford it, you can get a good Botox done on yourself or whatever the other surgery or the other treatment could be. But I think one needs to be a little more sensible also when it comes to these treatments. Do you really need it in your life?
Correct.
Are you willing to invest money in it? Are you willing
Yeah.
to keep doing it repeatedly? Because I think a lot of these treatments need,
Yeah, I mean,
repeated.
so one
set.
myth is that once you start doing it, you have to do it. You don't have to do it.
You don't?
You can do it as long as you want to do it.
Okay.
You want, like for example, you said crow's feet.
Yeah.
Okay. If I want to get rid of my crow's feet, I'll do Botox once.
Yeah.
The results are going to fade off in a couple of months. So 6 months later, if I don't want those lines again, yeah, I'll do it again.
Yeah.
That's the entire deal about doing it. But you don't have to keep doing it if you say you want to do it for a function and you don't want to do it again. That's also fine.
Yeah.
One more thing I want to talk about is the unspoken ageism in the industry.
Okay.
That a woman after 30 is not supposed to be sexually attractive. For example, Tip Tip Barsa Pani got remade. What a legendary song that was. Akshay Kumar got to be in the remake. But Raveena Tandon could not even be considered for the role. Why?
But she looks hot.
She
even
looks
today.
great. She looks so good. She looks better than people half her age.
Absolutely.
But she isn't even considered for the role. And to be very honest, from an audience perspective also, I don't think I want to just blame the industry for this. The audience doesn't want to see women after a certain age from that lens. But they're okay seeing a man doing a seemingly, intimate dance scene with a woman half his age. But you won't have a woman doing that even with a man her age. So there is this definite unspoken ageism. Women stop getting offered roles after a certain age. How has your experience been in regards to this?
You talked about crack cream. So let me tell you this experience from the ad agency. I've done a few ads when I was younger. In fact, in the ad agency or the ad field, 25 and above is mummy types and 35 and above is grandmother types.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I'm getting there.
Yeah. I mean, younger the better.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the public image or the social image. But again,
35 is grandmom.
Yes.
So depressing.
No, it's not really depressing. That's what I'm saying. I think the image is changing. The conception is changing, definitely, because the concept is changing. Because, now, in fact, a woman is said to be in her prime in her 40s. 40s are new 20s and 50s are new 30s and all those new, fancy lines have started coming up. I don't know whether you should believe in them or not. But I don't feel older even now. Like, I don't feel that, I'm at the fag end of my career or, I don't have much left
In
for
fact,
me.
if anything, I feel like you're at your peak in terms of your career. You're getting awards, you're exploring so many new fields that you didn't do earlier.
I would say that is wisdom. I don't know about the peak and all, but yeah, definitely you narrow down your options because you realize, you understand what is better for you. You learn to set your boundaries. You learn to say no. You're more sorted here.
Correct.
So I think in fact getting old is better in that sense.
Absolutely. Another thing I want to ask you is about, again, people recognize you when you step out. I've been to lunches and dinners with you and I have seen people turning and staring, people coming and talking to you, asking you for a picture. Does it ever pressurize you to look a certain way, to always be presentable? I mean, it's normal life. You're not going to always have makeup on. You'll go to the gym, you'll go shopping. You can't wear makeup all the time. And you're going to have acne, you're going to have pores.
Yeah.
How is that pressure for you?
See, pressure is something you need to decide. How much are you going to get affected by it? How much will you let it bother you? I don't. I mean, if you've seen me...
I know, you're a very sorted person in that
I
sense.
don't really apply makeup. In fact, a few of my neighbors really get, worried. Mugdha, you don't wear makeup at all. You should apply a little bit of makeup while you go out and all. But I don't. I mean, I let my skin breathe. There's one thing I can't live without, and that is lipstick. So you will not see me without a lipstick ever, but you will also not see me with a lot of makeup on my face, especially when I'm not shooting or when I'm not going for an event. So I should say that, you can always make that conscious effort of not taking that pressure. You shouldn't succumb to that pressure too much.
Correct. That's an important perspective. I face that a lot because as a dermatologist, I've had a few patients coming to me saying they'd gone somewhere else and they said, उस डॉक्टर को ही इतना acne था, तो how will they fix my acne? And I'm like, hey, I also struggled from acne a couple of times, and I hope I'm not being judged from that perspective that,
Okay.
a patient would feel that if this doctor can't fix her own acne, how can she fix mine? And then I feel like, is this a professional requirement to always have good skin? Because that's unsustainable. Like, your skin is always going to go through its ups
Yeah,
and downs.
yeah.
And what you're saying is right. Even I consciously have to take the effort to, let people see my acne. In fact, I show my patients that, hey, it's normal to get 1 or 2 pimples once in a while. And like, dekho, mujhe bhi hai. I have post-acne pigmentation. It will take its time to go. But yeah, that's a very important thing that you said, that we have to consciously not take that pressure.
Yeah.
Another question I wanted to ask you is that now that you've taken up writing more than acting, I'd say, how has that been? Is it refreshing to not have as much pressure on your appearance constantly? How has that been?
Well, I should say, Tanvi, all said and done, I like to look presentable all the time. Wherever I am, whichever setup I am in, whether it is writing, it is a literary function or an event, maybe I'll apply a little more makeup when I'm going for a television event or a film event. I may not apply that much of makeup if I'm going for a, Sahitya Puraskar function. But I would still want to look presentable. I'll do my hair well. I will take care of my skin. And that is something that you should do anyway. So yeah, pressure obviously is lesser because there people are not looking at me in a certain way, they don't want me to look glamorous, and they're not looking at me in that lens.
They're looking at you from the lens of the writing that you have done,
Yes,
which
yes.
is unrelated to your appearance.
Absolutely.
So that is great.
My skin, my appearance doesn't really make any difference to anyone there. So yeah, the pressure is definitely less.
Okay, now coming to your rituals, what's the bare minimum skincare that you always do? How have you managed to maintain your skin? I know this, but you can tell our audience
In
today.
fact, you should tell me if I've been able to maintain my skin. The one thing I've always, when I was younger, in fact, you go through that phase where you want to try out a lot of things. You experiment a lot with your own self, and you try out all the cosmetics in the market, and you try out a lot of exercise things and food items and everything, and then you realize that these are the things which work the best for me, and these I shouldn't do. So I went through all those phases, and now I've realized that lesser the better for me. So I apply sunscreen during the day.
Thank you.
And moisturizer. And now I think retinol is something that has entered,
Good girl. Good
Yeah.
girl.
Apart from that, I don't think I apply too much. As I said, I don't tamper too much with my skin. And that is something I've learned again a little later in my life.
Okay, now we're going to do a quick rapid fire.
Okay.
Okay. So I want very quick answers.
Huh.
What's more, Mugdha, the writer or the actor?
Now a writer because it gives me more freedom.
A role you were far too young to play.
I think in Abha Maya, I played a mother and an unwed mother, that too, at the age of 23. So that was something different because I had never experienced, obviously, motherhood before that. And yeah, the rebellious streak I always had, I guess.
What's one skincare step that you never skip?
I clean my face or I remove makeup thoroughly. I spend a lot of time removing
that
my
makes
makeup.
a lot of
Yeah.
difference, correct.
Yeah.
What's one thing about beauty that you've unlearned in your 30s?
Unlearned.
Or your
okay.
40s?
Interesting. So when I was younger, every few years, I think it's a rapid fire, but I would still want to. Every few years, the theory changes, So when I was younger, I had heard that you should take steam for your face very frequently to remove dirt and makeup and whatever. But then later I realized, or somebody again told me that no, you shouldn't do that because taking steam too frequently makes your skin lose its elasticity or something. So I don't know. You can only tell me what is right. But that is one thing which I've stopped doing. And again, unlearning, as I said, I don't use too many cosmetics. I go to a good dermatologist for a good advice.
Thank you.
Across the counter medicines and cosmetics I don't use.
One beauty comment that stayed with you, good or bad? Usually bad stays with us more than good.
Okay, so then the bad one was when I was 17, 18, I was shooting for some local photo shoot. Some local photographer had told me point blank that you don't have a photogenic face. So don't ever try and be an actor or a model.
Oh my God.
I was really thinking of
big
becoming
ha-ha
an actor
to him
even
now.
then. But that helped me, it gave me a realistic approach. So even later, if I wasn't considered for a specific role, I always knew that probably because I don't have a photogenic face, and a photogenic face is a face which
Kept you
probably-
grounded.
Yeah.
कि हाँ सही बोला.
हाँ, उस वक्त उसने सही बोला था. So I'm okay
Oh
with that.
my God. Who's your current favorite actor in the Marathi industry?
I should say Sai Tamhankar, because I like her performances. I like the way she carries herself. I have always seen her, giving a lot of importance and putting in a lot of effort. The way she looks, the way she styles herself. So that is important. I like her.
Okay, I'm not trying to flatter my sasural here, but the Godboles
Are you
have
should.
great skin. Oh, I should. It seems I should. The Godboles do have great skin. All your other flaws aside.
Let's talk about it later.
So the Godboles have great skin. So what is one beauty secret that's been handed down to you from generations telling you about skincare?
I think eating food, good food, eating happily. You can see the way we all
I
eat.
know.
Yeah, but that's really very important, You should really be happy with whatever you're eating and, your lifestyle in general. We eat a lot of ghee, even today.
Yeah.
I make ghee at home. Most of the ghee that I make is at home. I also put a lot of ghee in my vegetables and cook with ghee and, all that stuff. And my grandmother, as you must be knowing, she would use that snow. That was the most, I think, cosmetic available at that point.
Even
in time,
my
and
grandmom used to use it. I mean, we're not talking about the same grandmom.
And Pond's cream and Kailash Jeevan were the only cosmetics available. But I think I vouch for Kailash Jeevan even today. And
my grandmom used to use snow and my granddad used to use Brill cream to set his hair. It was so standard. Like I remember the smell. That was such a beautiful smell.
Yeah. And my grandmother used to call it saint, for perfumes. And she used to have a lot of small bottles of perfumes and she used to look really good. And
She was so beautiful. And she had such lovely hair.
And complexion.
Yeah. What's your most favorite skin treatment that we've done for you?
I think PRP was wonderful. It really worked for me because post-COVID and post my hysterectomy, my hair condition was really bad. So PRP was a saver, absolutely. You advised Botox a few years back, and I have certain privileges. I have a lot of doctors in my immediate family, so I've never really had to go out of my family for any medical treatment, thankfully. And I, of course, trust all my doctors. So you advised Botox and I went for it. And I've been doing Botox, I think, for the past few years.
Yeah.
I must have done
I think
it once
6
a year or
months
something.
once a year. Yeah,
I must
we've
have
been
done.
doing it.
And I don't think my skin is looking or my face is looking any plastic or, because again, every now and then we see those reels of Botox gone wrong of all the celebrities. And
So actually, this is a very big myth that a lot of people have. When your face looks swollen and that overfilled kind of look is not Botox.
Okay.
That is fillers.
Okay.
And those overfilled faces are what, maligns the entire industry, frankly. But I mean, whenever we've done your Botox, you never looked any different.
Yeah.
We just got rid of lines that, were excessive.
Yeah.
We never froze your face, especially because you're an actor.
Yes.
We have to take that extra precaution that you should be able to emote and you should be able to say, raise your eyebrows and frown and smile and
absolutely.
laugh. That's very important.
No, and I love my lines, so it's okay.
Yeah,
if
so
they
we
show
don't want
once
to
in a
get rid
while.
of all of
Yeah.
them.
And
But
Haifu also, you suggested
Yeah.
Haifu, which I've done, but I don't know if it is showing any.
it's
only
it's
should be
always
able
a
to
very
get-
subtle difference, but I feel definitely there has been an improvement in your jawline for sure.
And the medifacials, obviously.
Yeah.
I think I did my first facial just before my wedding.
Yeah.
That was the first time I did my facial. After that, I used to do facial very frequently, like every month, once a month. And then you entered the family, then I started coming to you and you've been
Lovely.
giving me medifacials.
Lovely. But one thing I want to really say here is that it takes a lot for an actor to come out and speak out that, hey, I've done Botox. And it's so rare and I see so few people doing it. And I wish more people would do it because you're normalizing something that you're doing. It's very easy
Because
for
I'm
people to say.
100% sure that I'm not overdoing it.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything that is affecting my skin or the
Yeah.
way I look in a bad way, in a wrong way. So I'm convinced whatever I'm doing is
Yeah.
fine. And again, as I'm saying, I'm going to a good dermatologist which I trust completely blindly, and I know she will never give me a wrong advice. So what's wrong in
Thank you.
doing that? And
No, but that said, there's a lot of actors when they're asked about their skincare routine, when they've obviously done more, and there's nothing wrong with it.
nothing wrong with it.
But they've obviously done a lot more than what they say they have. And they'll attribute it to drinking a lot of water, which frankly I feel is setting very wrong expectations for society, because I see the effects that say social media and watching stars with very perfect skin
Yeah.
has on teenagers. I get so many
They don't
young
drink
teenage
water
girls.
24/7. They do a lot of treatments.
Of
And-
course.
Yeah, and
And
it's okay. Who are we to
Kids
judge?
today are so pressurized by this that they feel that they need to start retinol at 15, and they need to get rid of every single pimple on their face. They need to fix every single line on their face. They need to fix flaws that aren't flaws. And it takes so much of effort for us to explain to them that, hey,
It's all natural and normal.
this is not normal skin. Normal skin is not always perfect, and it's so important that you're talking about it. Mugdha, one final message to all of the women here who feel pressured to keep looking young and to keep
you
looking
don't
a
have
certain
to.
way.
You just don't have to. Aging gracefully is a beautiful thing, and it's a very famous line. I don't know who said it, but it's a privilege to grow old. And if you're lucky, especially with with the things which are happening around us right now, it's a privilege to grow old, and you're lucky if you're given that opportunity or the chance to grow old. And I think we should just embrace it and be happy that we are growing old. And I wouldn't want to be 25 or 30. I'm very happy being 47.
Those were stupid times.
Where we made a lot of mistakes. We are still
Yeah.
making a lot of mistakes, but different ones.
Yeah. And the whole goal of skincare at this age is to look your best at whatever age you're
Absolutely.
at. Your skin should look its best at whatever age you're at.
Yes.
It needs to be age appropriate, and we are not trying to reverse age at all.
So my advice would be go to an expert for every skin issue, whatever you're facing. You will face skin issues all your lives, but go to an expert. Never try out things on your own, and that's it.
Thank you so much, Mugdha, for being on our podcast. Do follow us for more such interesting conversations, and we'll be back with another great podcast very soon.